Hi, this is Jeff Lovett, and today I'm back in my ultra secret writing room to help you get started writing your business blog. Not because you want to be a famous writer, but because blogging is one of the easiest ways to add to your online footprint and helps potential customers find you in the digital world. Now, in this episode, I'm going to show you how to set up your blog for success from the very start. But before we get to that, I'm going to answer some of the questions that you guys sent me last week about my writing and about my writing room. These seem to fascinate a lot of people. So we'll answer those first, coming up next. As you can see, I am not in my studio for this series on blogging. Instead, I have invited you to come into my secret writing room, which is just really one of the upstairs bedrooms that is now empty now that my three children have grown up and moved to their own homes, or two of them who are off at college. It seems that many of the people who watched my video last week were really more interested in the writing room and my writing than actually learning about blogging. So I thought I would actually just take a couple of seconds before we got into the real meat of today's topic to answer some of your questions about this place and about writing. So here's the first one. One viewer wanted to know why I have two offices, one for working and one for writing. Well, the answer is pretty simple. For me, writing is a very immersive thing. When I begin to write, I slip into sort of another plane of reality. I really kind of feel like I'm standing inside the place that I'm writing about, where the story is set, actually kind of watching what happens as if it's really going on. And I really want no distractions for that. That's why I have this small little room set up. The windows are blacked out. There's no phone. There's no internet. Now, if you're a writer and you can find a space like this, I highly recommend a place for your writing where there are no distractions, that only you are allowed. The kids can't go there, nobody else. It really does help. Okay, here's another question. One person wanted to know if I really did write a 1,500-page novel. Yes, I did. It's a 6-part fantasy adventure novel called The Handlings. This is actually a copy of it right here. All 6 books bound together in one big, thick book. Took me about 4 years to write that. It is on sale on Amazon if you want to read it. It's pretty cool. And the last question is not really about writing. It's about something people saw hanging on the wall behind me, and they wanted to know what this thing was over here behind me. And actually, that's something that my daughter Madeline gave me a few years ago. She spent 13 years dancing ballet, and that was actually the last pair of pointe shoes that she wore in the very last dance that she ever danced as a senior. So they're very sentimental to me, and I have a few of those kind of things around my little writing room. So enough questions about that. Let's get to today's topic, how to set up your blog. Okay, there are plenty of blogging platforms and tools out there, but the one that is the most popular and the one that I would highly recommend that you use if you're going to blog is called WordPress. Now, WordPress is a very popular platform for creating websites. You've probably heard that term before. Our SummerhillDigital.com website is written in WordPress, like millions and millions of other sites on the internet. But WordPress was actually created as a blogging platform first, so it has the best selection of tools for writing, for inserting images, for putting in links, and making your blogging really easy to share. So if you're going to start a blog, I know there's a ton of stuff out there, but I really suggest that you use WordPress. It really is just the best. But whatever platform you do decide on, it is absolutely imperative that your blog is hosted on your own domain and not on the platform provider's domain. Now, in my case, I don't want my blog to be located on summerhilldigital.wordpress.com. By hosting off of my domain, I'm helping to build search authority for WordPress, and I don't want to do that. I want to build search authority for me. So you want to make sure that your blog is actually hosted on your own domain. In my case, it's on my domain, so my blog is actually summerhilldigital.com/blog. Now, when people search for me and to find my blog, they're actually going to go to my domain, and the people at Google now see those links going to me and not to the WordPress site. Now, it's pretty easy for you or your IT person to set up your blog this way. I won't go through all the technical stuff out there, but there are two things that you or the person that is setting this up for you need to make sure you do right from the very start, okay? Number one is to make sure that you enable comments on your blog. Without the comments, I wouldn't have got those questions that you guys sent me last week. You want people to be able to ask you questions and leave comments so you can have a conversation with them. That really is one of the ultimate goals of your blog, is to get people involved in a conversation so you can talk to them. The other thing you want to do is set it up so that people can subscribe to your blog and are notified whenever you publish something new. This is called an RSS feed, and it's pretty easy to set up in WordPress. That's why I like WordPress. It makes all this stuff so simple. Now, that is a rather simplified primer on how to get going. If you need more help, you're going to see a little button right below this video that says, I need help. Just click on that, and we'll be glad to help you get your blog set up, or at least help point you to someone who can. Now, next week, after you get your blog all set up and you're going and you're ready to go, and you go, well, what do I do next? We're going to help you. You know, being a successful blogger, it takes knowing what to write about. And a lot of people get all set up and excited, but they just really don't know what to do next. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, is actually when you're ready to start writing, what is it that you want to write about so that people will actually want to read your blog? So we'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, leave your comments, your questions below, and I'll answer those in the next few days. And I look forward to talking to you more about blogging, about writing next week. Until then, have a great week, and I'll see you then.